on the boardwalk part of the Flytrap Trail at Carolina Beach State Park to talk about the reptiles and amphibians that live in the longleaf pine forests of the southeastern United States. Now, the southeastern United States has some of the highest reptile and amphibian diversity of anywhere in the country, and many of those animals rely on the longleaf pine forest habitats for their survival. In the longleaf pine forest habitats, you can find more than 91 species of amphibians and reptiles, from tree frogs to snakes to turtles, and fully 1/3 of those species are specialists on the longleaf pine habitat. So they really rely on the specific features this habitat has, and they don't do very well if they're forced to go into other habitats. The longleaf pine forests rely on fire to maintain many of the features that these amphibians and reptiles rely on. Lots of other animals need that fire to maintain their breeding habitats, which is a problem because only about 3% of the historic range of that longleaf pine habitat still exists today. The very threatened Carolina gopher frog need breeding ponds to lay their eggs in and for their tadpoles to grow up in that are shallow, that are seasonal and dry up in the drier parts of the year, and especially that don't have fish. When a mature longleaf pine tree dies, the stump is left in the ground for sometimes decades, and when fires pass through this habitat, it'll burn away at the edges of the stump root, leaving tunnels underground that are very critical habitat for many species of amphibians and reptiles. And in fact, lots of the specialist species who only thrive in longleaf pine ecosystems spend most of their lives underground. Snakes like pine snakes and frogs like gopher frogs will spend the majority of their time in these underground refuges looking for other underground animals to eat. Other species of longleaf pine specialists include a couple kinds of salamanders. The tiger salamander is a huge salamander. It can get over a foot long. Without the fires, you can't have the longleaf pine specialist animals. And outside of the longleaf pine specialist reptiles and amphibians, there are lots of other species that will use these important forests as habitat too, even if they can live in other places. And I have some reptiles that you can find in the longleaf pine habitat here to show to you today. Box turtles will dig into the sand and create little burrows for themselves or hide under logs to avoid the fires that come through the habitats. Corn snakes love to dig and climb the pine trees. And king snakes are found in these habitats because there are so many other snakes for the king snakes to hunt and prey upon. The use of fire in a longleaf pine habitat controls the plants that grow there. Without the fire, the plants that are specialized for that fire-based ecosystem don't grow, and that means that all of the features about the longleaf pine forest that snakes and salamanders and turtles and frogs rely on, the things that they are specially adapted to and they count on having in their homes, vanish with the plants that the fire maintains.